Hello. Well, as we get older, I'm sure most of us realise the importance for taking care of ourselves and checking up on our health and taking a bit more care of our physical well-being. But, often it's quite difficult to know if we're setting ourselves up for any illnesses or diseases anyway. Well, our friends over at restless.co.uk have come up with a list of 11 important health checks that you should take if you're, say, over 50, and we're going to share them with you now. Welcome to Grey Matters. Hello there and welcome to Grey Matters, the channel that promotes the fact that the older generation still matters and looks at issues that matter to the older generation. Now then, our bodies, our health. We only have one body. It's not as if we can pop into a dealership and renew it or get it repaired or buy a new one. When it's worn out, when it's finished, that's it. Final. So it makes sense that we should take care of it. And, just like an old car, things go wrong. Pumps aren't so efficient. Seals start leaking. Joints seize up. The bodywork decays. But, as I said earlier, our friends at restless.co.uk have drawn up a list of 11 important, if not vital, health checks that you should take when you reach, say, 50 years old. And we're going to take a look at them in a moment. But first, let me tell you about the Restless website. It's incredible. And this isn't a paid promotion, just in case you're wondering. It's the UK's fastest digital community, and it's aimed at the over 50s. And the content there is astonishing. It covers all manner of subjects, including money, health, lifestyle, volunteering, jobs even. You can register your CV with them and even get one-to-one support in your job hunting process. And if you fancy expanding your horizons, there's a really good set of courses that you can take, some paid, some free, but there's hundreds of them and all manner of things. This is a website that really does have something for everyone, and we can't recommend it highly enough. We'll put a link in the description below. Pop over, have a look, sign up for some courses, take advantage of all the content. We're pleased to give it a big thumbs up here at Grey Matters. Well worth visiting. Now then, health checks. And the first one has got to be the free NHS MOT, the full workout. It's for people between 40 and 47 years of age, basically. It can tell you if you're at higher risk of developing certain health problems such as diabetes, kidney disease and stroke. You should receive a letter inviting you to take this health check at least every 5 years. And recent studies showed that around 8,500 heart attacks and strokes were prevented, caught early, by this health check. And it's free. Number 2. Eyesight tests. Sounds obvious, but these aren't just about getting new spectacles, because an in-depth look at your eye can reveal a lot of potential disease factors. The optician can spot health issues that you might otherwise be entirely unaware of until it's too late. Now, these include diabetes and glaucoma is the second most common cause of blindness. There's also age-related macular degeneration that it can spot. And this causes blurred vision, often in the centre of the eye, and omega-3 incidentally has been linked with helping to lower the risk of AMD. But the optician, a great place to start, particularly if you get some symptoms, things like headaches you can't explain, maybe can't put down to eye strain, or additional floaters that you hadn't seen before. Go see the optician. Number 3 is cholesterol testing. Now, knowing whether or not your cholesterol is too high, and if it is, taking steps to control it, can literally add years to your life. Now, cholesterol is a type of fat that can build up in the arteries and increase your risk of cardiovascular diseases, including heart attacks, narrowing of the arteries and strokes. So getting that cholesterol under control is important, so do get that checked. Number 4 is bowel cancer screening. Now, hopefully you're getting regular test kits sent through, about every 2 years, I believe. It's a home test kit. Now, it doesn't actually screen for cancer, for bowel cancer, but what it can do is detect abnormalities that could potentially be caused by cancer. So it will diagnose known issues before the cancer actually appears. And the sooner it's detected and treated, the better the survival rate. Now, one of the ways it does it is to detect blood in your stool sample, because that's generally how you do it, is to take a stool sample. It could be something as simple as hemorrhoids, but it might be more serious. So it's worth getting that done every couple of years. Number 5 is an osteoporosis scan. Now, osteoporosis is a disease that weakens the bones, and it can make them prone to fracture. And risk factors include how much you smoke, how much you drink, whether you're overweight or underweight, and if you've got issues with too little estrogen. Those are all factors that can contribute to osteoporosis. So get a scan done for that as well. Number 6 is breast cancer screening. I can't tell you how important this one is. Most women will receive their first invitation for breast cancer screening between the ages of 50 and 53. The screening will continue every 3 years until you reach the age of 70. If you want, you can still request a screening every 3 years after the age of 70. Now, I personally have an issue with this because more and more times we're hearing of women being treated for breast cancer who are well under the age of 50, well under. And I think it's about time the government maybe started investing a bit more money in breast screening and lowered the age, because in the long run, it's going to save a lot of money on the NHS if they're not having to treat breast cancer. If they can identify it and treat it early enough, it's going to cost them a lot less money in the long run, I'm sure. And don't get me started on government funding for cancer research, which is basically non-existent. Number 7 is a blood pressure test. Well, there's lots of home blood pressure machines available from chemists, Boots and Lloyd's, and you can do your own checks, particularly if you know that you do have high or low blood pressure. Just keep your own check on it. Ideal blood pressure is 120/80. 120 is the pressure in the heart as it pumps out the blood, that's the systolic, and the lower figure, the 80, is the diastolic, and that's the heart's resting pressure. Now, if that's too high, it means your heart's not getting any rest between beats and potentially could wear out quicker. So there's lots of little areas between those figures as they go higher and lower that mean different things. But get it checked. Number 8 is screening for an abnormal aortic aneurysm. Now, if you're a man, particularly over 65, in the UK, because it's more common in that demographic, you should be offered screening anyway. But even if you don't fit that demographic, you can still ask for the screening. The aorta is the central blood vessel that carries all the other blood vessels from it. And if that's damaged, then obviously it could affect everything in your body, all your organs, your heart, and everything. So get it checked. Number 8 is prostate cancer checking. Now, screening for that is really important because it's usually a symptomless disease until it's too late. Risk increases once you're over the age of 50. When symptoms appear, they often include the need to pee more frequently, or a feeling that you haven't finished peeing, like the bladder is still full, even though it isn't. Because these symptoms can relate to other conditions as well, so don't read too much into them, but keep them in mind. There is currently no screening for prostate cancer in the UK. So the moment you think you've got any symptoms, contact your GP. There is a test available, PSA, And to find out more, you should head over to the UK prostate cancer website, and I will leave a link in the description for you down below. Number 10 is cervical cancer screening. Now, those cases were running at around 7,000 a year in the UK, but they've been decreasing since screening was brought in the 1980s by about 7% a year. Women aged between 50 and 64 should be invited for screening, and if you haven't been and you fit that demographic, get onto your GP and ask to be screened. And number 11, the hearing tests. Pardon, I hear you say? Yep, hearing tests. Around 40% of people over 60 suffer from some degree of hearing loss. Now, it's worth going to see your doctors about this. Not every surgery now offers hearing tests. They've been cutting back with things like that and dealing with ingrowing toenails and all sorts of things to save money. And if they don't offer a hearing test, you can go to people like Specsavers and Boots, who will do hearing tests for you. But bear in mind, they have the additional agenda in wanting to sell you hearing aids. And there's often no need to spend £2,000 or £3,000 on hearing aids. The NHS ones are often perfectly good and with advanced technology in them as well. So check them out before you start parting with your hard-earned money. Well, that's it. There's 11 tests, screening tests and checks that you should perhaps do, thanks to our friends at restless.co.uk. Some of them will probably seem quite obvious, but sometimes you don't actually do anything about those, even when they're obvious. Well, why bother my blood pressure? I'm sure it's fine. Cholesterol checks, well, I don't smoke, I don't eat fatty foods. What's the point? It doesn't matter. Do them anyway, particularly, if you're over 50, it's well worth it. It might detect something early, it might not, but you're no worse off, are you? That's it for now. Thank you very much. We've got some more videos coming up soon. We're going to be looking at, we've looked at seated yoga. Hope to be looking at seated dance soon. Yeah, I know. Or in my case, it would have to be seated dad dancing, I guess. And seated exercise. A lot of sitting down, but they are very useful classes. There'll be one near you, and I'm sure. And if you're suffering from limited mobility, it could be the ideal way for you to get some exercise. So we'll look at those in the near future. I also intend to have a rant about the lack of cancer research funding in the UK compared to America. Just to give you a little idea, the American government in 2021 invested $6.4 billion in with the National Cancer Institute for Cancer Research and Treatment. And that was looking at 16 different types of cancers. It included AIDS as well, and included funding for clinical trials. In the UK in 2019, I think we gave about £1 billion for medical research generally. It didn't include cancer, but there are some other figures there that do kind of include cancer. We'll talk about when I have my rant. In the meantime, thank you for joining us. See you again soon. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time on Grey Matters.